I'm really surprised that Zach could be such a good chimp today, taking his history into account. I mean, Zach was chained to a tree in Luanda, in Angola. Zach was kept outside a nightclub. Actually, where he was chained was called a place called Club Hipiko in Luanda, Angola. Now, there was a lane of trees, and spaced about equally distances from each other. And he was chained to one of these trees, and they were regularly given cigarettes and alcohol, so they can get intoxicated and people can just laugh at their response, laugh at their actions when they're drunk and when they're smoking cigarettes. So yeah, he was one of the chimps that had to be removed of all of these things. I mean, you can imagine if you've been smoking and drinking for such a long time that it's not easy not having those things anymore. It was really shocking for me to find him there, and that's one of the chimps. Zach is one of the chimps that strengthened my resolve to get all of the chimps out of Luanda. I think what's really unique about Zach is his way of socializing with other chimps and with us as well, where he'd pluck one of his hairs out and put it inside his mouth and try to hand it to you. Every chimp is individual. I mean, as humans are. And this is the one thing that Zach does, kind of like how chimps start spitballing and start to groom. This is what Zach does to initiate a friendship and socialization. He hands one of his hairs to one of the other chimps, and when it comes to me, he hands one of his hairs to me, and I have to give him the right behavior. If I don't take the hair from him, I get the wrong response back from him. So it's really imperative to observe these chimps and their little individual behaviors and habits, and then try and work with that. I think Zach and Jinga, the two of them got along really well inside what we call Bonobo Square. But we had to separate them because of the long-term future of the two of them. It wouldn't have been a perfect match because Jinga can go so much further being inside the adult camp. And obviously Zach, it's a safety risk for him to be introduced to the adult camp because I don't think he would last very long. And I think Zach did pretty well being separated from Jinga under the circumstances. You didn't see him being aggressive towards us because he was separated. And also, I think from Jinga's side, she was also doing pretty well. They could see each other. I mean, they were just in cages opposite one another. So I think because of that, it made it easier being separated. The message that I'm taking away from Zach's story is the fact that no matter how bad you've had it in the past, that there's still a chance for you to be fully forgive people for what they've done. I mean, can you imagine him being able to forgive people for what they've done to him, chaining him to a tree for 17 years, and then still, today I could go in with Zach. I could, he'd be playful with me, he'd socialize with me. He doesn't hate me, for being a human and for being part of the species that have made his life so miserable in the past. I think the sanctuary holds a great future for Zach because I do believe that he will become the alpha male of the infinite enclosure. He definitely has a strong character. He stands up for himself and he constantly displays towards the other males, and I do think in time he will take over from Zhao. So that means he is the future leader of a group.